B-A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. This week we're going to be recapping CYC Dallas 2023, and we'll discuss that, Ben and I will, right after these messages.
This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you in partnership with ministryleague.com. We would love for more people to discover this show, so please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast provider. Feel free to share on your social media and subscribe at benandtravis.com for the free ebook.
I'm Travis Creasy. That's All-Pro Counselor Ben Hayes.
What's happening?
And we are coming to you from Dallas, Texas. The day before the Dallas Cowboys take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to try and end their playoff woes.
2 days before, actually.
2 days, that's right. It's going to be on Monday, but by the time you hear this, unless, of course, you're a part of our Patreon.com,
that's true.
The game will already be over. But nonetheless, it's been an eventful weekend here in Dallas. Ben, how are you, man?
I'm good. It's been a great weekend. We've got to hang out. That's always a good weekend when we get to hang out. Always a great weekend when we get to hang out with SWAT all the way here to get to see our peoples from Louisiana and Texas and Missouri and Oklahoma and Arkansas, and I probably missed a few of them, but that's always fun. And then it's been a really big weekend everywhere because you've got the Gulf Conference that's been going on this weekend too.
Will's
representing that, so we didn't even try to get him on the phone because I figure he's going to be with the youth group doing stuff. I think this is also EU or Evangelism University.
Plenty of stuff going on.
So all kinds of things. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. And that documentary, that 30 for 30 on Skits with the Truth, when it gets to the modern era, you're going to have to include some of that trip stories all the way out here to Dallas. Some of it you will need to not include, or it will need to be pay-per-view. Anyways, it's been a great weekend. I always look forward to this weekend because we kind of get our skits nailed down like an hour before we're supposed to perform them. But it is a different crew out here, a different approach. Still CYC, who were wonderful sponsors for our dodgeball and 5K, Freedom 5K this year. So shout out to you, Larry Davenport, for that. Also, spending all this time organizing a great event that, if you just come out and you didn't see behind the scenes, it would be really easy to think, well, it's just a machine, and you show up and things get done. But things get crazy, and then, of course, this year it was Friday the 13th.
It was.
Leading into CYC.
And there were some kind of sketchy things that ended up happening with some of the trucks and some of the cars that were here, and we won't get into all those details, but Friday the 13th showed up and showed out, as we like to say.
So our
not
weekend,
in a good way, though.
My weekend started by leaving my house in Fayetteville at 6:30, driving down to Marinoville, meeting up with our Huntsville crew from SWAT, Skits with the Truth, loading up and making our way to Highland Park to meet Ben. We stopped at our usual breakfast place there just west of Decatur, and a tornado came through.
Blew right through.
And we had to
I wasn't with them yet.
We had to sit in jacks, watch the lights flicker, the wind blow in from the side, all Forrest Gump style. And but we made it. But we had a little delay. Then we met Ben, as I said, Highland Park, and then we were on our way through Mississippi, Arkansas, and into Dallas.
Tennessee,
Arkansas,
yeah,
absolutely.
And it was a little rainy. Ran into a few storms on the way, but fairly easy trip. So Absolutely. It was good stuff.
Good stuff. We got in around 10 p.m., a little after 10 p.m.
10:30.
Dallas, so we were on the road. I was on the road from 6:30 to 10 on Thursday. And just some fun stuff as we go. We have tradition of stopping at, what's the restaurant there?
It's San Jose's, yeah.
So we always stop there. We always eat some good food there, get loaded up, and drive a little further. And then we somehow, some way, end up in, where's the place that we always run into, the FFA convention?
Oh man, Farmsville or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would be perfect.
I don't know if that's actually right or not. that may be where San Jose's is at, something like that. But we may or may not have gotten pulled over. I won't say who was driving when that happened.
There. You went hard in the paint.
I'm not telling who. I'm just saying somebody might have been driving that got us pulled over. But just got a warning. We didn't know where we were at. So
yeah, and sometimes there's a mix-up with tags when you're having a rental vehicle.
And we didn't have tags on the vehicle.
Yeah, that probably
didn't help
that's
any.
the main reason.
That probably was why we got pulled over. An unmarked van with no tags, going a little bit too fast. It wasn't. We'll just put it this way: it wasn't Ben or Travis.
Yes, at least we weren't wearing our SWAT gear.
Yeah, that might have been.
That would have been a little more, even more suspicious, as they say. So we roll in, get here at 10 on Thursday night. Friday is practice field, to say the least. Nailing down some stuff. We go to Le Peep.
We do
for breakfast on Friday, and actually this morning as well.
So good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Great. What was it?
What was it? Texas pecan coffee.
Texas pecan coffee.
It's pretty good. You
sign me up. Sign me up. And we come back. We practice, and then there's a Ben and Travis game show on Friday night where we.
You missed a really important part.
Oh, okay. Well,
so lunch, we go to a little place called Heart 8. If you were ever in the Dallas area, you should find one. Open grill with as much meat as you want, any kind of meat that you want. You can dip it in butter if you want. Fried stuff inside if you want to add that on. But
the brisket, sausage.
Brisket, sausage, ribs, ribeye, bacon, and jalapeno wrapped around chicken, around shrimp, other things. You just get what you want. They weigh it, you eat it, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm glad you corrected me on that, because that's a big swing and miss if you don't mention Heart 8.
We want Will to be glad.
The food in Dallas is worth the trip.
The food alone is worth the trip. Yeah. So, there was some other good stuff today. We ate at a new place today, right? So I don't think we had eaten at this
Gloria's.
Gloria. Yeah. Knew you were going to do it.
The best, I'm just going to throw this out there, the best chicken tacos I have ever eaten.
Well, it was a pretty good flank steak that I ate, so it was good stuff.
It was awesome. I enjoyed it immensely. Of course, Friday, like I said, we had a little Ben and Travis, and man, this crowd was lit. Did the kids say that anymore?
I don't know.
They were turned up. I'll just hit all of the metaphors.
I don't think they say that
a decade. But anyways, it was wild. They were participating. We taught them some songs. We busted out the milk song. We busted out the Chicky beat, which I think most of the kids knew. It's not. I don't think it was new to the camp. These kids very much, but there were some SWAT guys who had never seen us do that one, and well, to say it's, or they call them earworms, so they get stuck and you can't get rid of them, and so that was enjoyable. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then today ended up being the SWAT day, so we did a lot of practicing today.
Yes.
Practiced this morning, practiced this afternoon. This morning we had conference, but we practiced pretty much all afternoon. We went and grabbed some wings and Stop, not Wing Street. That's the Pizza Hut one. Wingstop was great. So we've eaten well. But, I get to thinking about these weekends too, and I think, there's all kinds of good food. There's all kinds of good places to go in Dallas. And I mean, we didn't do the things, one year we went to Dealey Plaza. One year we went, I think the same year, we went to AT&T Stadium and we did some stuff. I was thinking all the great things that you can do in Dallas, all the great places that you can eat in Dallas, but I don't think that they would be the same if I came by myself.
Oh, no. And fellowship is such a huge part of Christianity. And fellowship can be, and we hope for you, a big part of mental health as well. To have a good crew. We come out, we give each other grief. There's tons of inside jokes. There's piles and piles and piles of skits that we've done that somebody will say a line from a skit not on purpose, and somebody has to finish the line. And so there's a bunch of that going on. And you and Lonnie actually spoke this morning. You guys kind of directed I don't know, was it a Q&A?
Kind of, yeah.
Aspect about mental health with youth ministers and youth workers and deacons and elders. And, it just does my heart good to see not just youth ministers. I think we've seen kind of a shift in the last few years. It's not just youth ministers, but it's youth deacons, it's elders who attend things like this. And I was talking with Dale Jenkins, and he said, it's really elderships that kind of make these things happen, because we know of a lot of groups where if the church doesn't pay for all the kids to go, they certainly are willing to pitch in and help so that everybody gets an opportunity to go, because there is expense involved. But it's an amazing thing to see so many people see the value in a weekend like this.
It's just connections. It's connections. And you think about, you mentioned earlier, you can't make this conference, you can't make golf, you can't make EU, you can't make exposure, any of the other conferences, erupt, whatever else they are. You can't make those happen without a bunch of people helping and working. And, Larry's got his crew here that's setting up and doing stuff. But even we've come, what did we say? This would be the 7th year, I believe.
I think that's right.
Because COVID, we didn't have one of the years here in Dallas, but it would have been the 7th year. And, I think about the people who've been coming all those years. And I may only see them this week out of the year. But it's like the moment you see them, you pick back up where you left off. And that's the beauty of the church. That's the beauty of God's people, is the connections that we have with each other. And so I can drive out here by myself. I can drive 11 hours to Dallas. I mean, I don't know why I would want to do that, though, if I didn't have the people with me. Now, I can bring my family or, connect with them and go, oh, come look at this place. But so much of what makes this place special is the same as what we say about Maywood and other places that we love. It's the people that are there. And so I know when I get out here, the church at Fordland's going to be here, and we're going to be cutting up with them. And, the church from down in Louisiana is going to be here. And, those people that we just haven't got to see, and we get to reconnect and just be together with us, cutting up with the SWAT
team. It's really cool to have. I've had several come up and go, we keep up with you guys year round. And, we go back and forth, we message you, we try to encourage you. And, man, it's just awesome to see how God created us for relationship. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the positives of the internet, is that there's an ability to connect with these people. Obviously, it's always better to be in closer location. But it is really nice that there are so many people who have bought into encouraging Ben and Travis, to encouraging SWAT. It's just overwhelming. And I think the weekends like this, weeks like camp, live up to that phrase of the flesh is or spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to say this and sound like, on my part, I know I'm nothing like Paul. I'm not even on that level. Okay, but if you read the New Testament, that's Paul is writing to churches that he's had connections with that he doesn't happen to be with at the moment. So he may have spent a few weeks, he may have spent a few months, he may have spent a few years with these churches, but he's got such a connection with them. And so now, we have the ability today that we don't have to be, in their presence. We don't have to be in, Missouri or in Texas or in Louisiana to be with people and encourage people. We got social media, and for all the bad rap that social media gets, understandably so, deserves probably, there's that positive aspect of social media, that you can stay connected with your brothers and sisters. We've got brothers and sisters in Alaska and in Bangladesh and in Nepal and in Scotland and all over the country and all over the world, that we're able to stay connected with and encourage each other. And then it's just great to get to see them, to actually see them in person. But, again, connections.
I think the flip side that's so cool is if Paul needs encouragement, then we certainly do.
Yeah.
And I think of those people, and I'm sure Paul names some. He writes letters.
Romans 16 is all about the people that, we kind of skip through Romans 16 because it's a bunch of names, but to him,
they
were the people that kept him going.
Kept him surviving, and in some cases fed him, if in prison, and
saved
things
him.
of that nature, saved him. And so we just look at that continuation. We may not be in the same league as Paul, however you want to look at that, but we look at it and go, well, if that guy believed and trusted and wanted to encourage people because they were encouraging him, then we certainly need that. And so I think there's a push in our world today, and I don't think it's a new push, but it's a little more available, that you feel like you can disconnect. And I'm not saying disconnection is always bad, but maintaining that and staying disconnected and becoming that the ultimate introvert is not good. And we were created for relationship, and so that connectivity, that encouragement. Ben's not always in my business telling me what I should and shouldn't do, but there is a sense of responsibility and a sense of accountability that throughout the year, maybe I'm not at these big events, but I can remember the lessons I've learned. I can remember the fellowship and friendships that we've made, and that kind of helps me make decisions sometimes of what I'm going to do, what's the best approach. And so I guess at the end of the day, just know, if you're listening to this, that we think about you. We think about what we can do to help encourage you, because you guys are such an encouragement to me.
I always love being able to hang out there. I guess I want to give a special shout out to our uncle who made us some amazing cornhole boards with Ben and Travis on them. You guys have probably seen them on social media, but our uncle Jack, who is super talented and makes all sorts of great stuff, made those for us, put our logo on them, and I think everybody kind of enjoyed them this weekend. So if you come to CYC Pigeon Forge, it's a good chance you're going to see some cornhole.
This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you by Heritage Christian University. The mission of Heritage Christian University is simple. We aim to advance the churches of Christ by equipping servants through undergraduate and graduate programs. HCU produces effective communicators of the gospel, focusing on evangelism and a commitment to Scripture. Heritage Christian University offers the following degrees: Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, Master of Arts, Master of Ministry, and a Master of Divinity. HCU is accredited by the Association for Biblical Higher Education. Since 1968, Heritage Christian University has offered affordable degrees in biblical studies, allowing graduates to thrive in their ministries without the burden of loan debt. For the spring 2023 semester, HCU is offering full tuition scholarships for all graduate-level students. For more information about Heritage Christian University, visit www.hcu.edu.
All right, Ben. So if you're making a scrapbook of CYC Dallas 2023, are you listening? What's going to make it? What's got to be in?
Is this a digital scrapbook?
Whatever.
Is it a picture?
It's any memory.
Just
memory. Something's going to stand out to you. Could be a few things, if you'd like. We'll try to steer clear of the negative, because you may have mentioned one that'll always stand out. But
I was just being honest, okay? If I was gonna put a scrapbook together, man, that's a good question. I'm trying to think for a moment. What would you put? Because I'm gonna have to. I mean, we've already mentioned several, so I'm trying not to mention the same thing. You got anything particular that's standing out in your mind?
Well, I mean, the skits with the truth always stand out, and I don't want to give out too much, but the things at CYC sometimes I remember the most are the front row.
That's true.
I know there are a lot of people who try to get front row. There are people who will line up outside to do it. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like a tailgate.
And you got to understand, front row at Dallas, if you're at front row at Pigeon Forge, you're what, 20 or 30 feet from the stage. You're a good ways off. Front row at Dallas, you're literally about 7 or 8 feet, 10 feet, or less.
Yeah.
So there's basically a big screen TV on the floor, and then the crowd.
And I'll say, as Ben and Travis game show, as SWAT, there's something special about a front row who is engaged and ready to go. And I think we definitely had that this weekend in Dallas. We had a front row, especially for Skits with the Truth, that were there to have a good time. And you could tell they rolled the roller coaster with us. And there's a couple of skits where I'm right there front and center, kind of staring out. And one time I almost broke character. I had to like look away from a certain section. But I would say that I think that front row tonight was really special, really good.
Yeah, I think that was great.
Engaged.
I guess, I mean, if it's not SWAT, we didn't get a chance to hear all of the singing, but man, when we walked outside after a SWAT, after we put all of our stuff up and went out there, we at least heard How Great Thou Art, or no, Our God Is Alive. Was that what it was? Yeah. And
yes.
yeah, they were, it was pretty awesome. So just hearing that just for a couple of minutes, because we missed some of it because we were wrapping up some things with SWAT, but that was awesome. Hearing that part of it was great. You know, we got a king cake, so I mean, I like my king cake. That's always good, and I think just the food. You know, the people. You know, we got to eat supper with and lunch with. Probably didn't enjoy it as much this year. Had a little bit of a annoyance in my mouth this year, so food wasn't quite as great as it has been in the past, but I guess that would be it.
Well, I'll say this, I'm just glad there's something finally annoying you more than I do. So
that's true. It was definitely annoying. Much more annoying.
Or more, I may have piled in. And speaking to the crowd, we made a pretty cool video. Ben, it was your idea. I called it the human sound machine.
Yeah.
At Challenge Youth Conference 2023. Dallas, Texas.
Boom, crack.
And
wiki.
Boom, crack. Boom,
wiki,
crack.
Wiki.
Wiki. And that was cool. I don't know if that's a thing we could try at Pigeon Forge or not.
Might just have that.
But we may have to check it out. I'm sure you can watch the video. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. But man, what a blessing it is to come out here. We're thankful that Larry invites us, keeps inviting us. And man, we just had a blast. Everybody was ready to rock and roll. Ben, as always, I appreciate you. And we'll talk at everybody else next week.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.